Hey, this is Yanni. I'm just going to talk about some basic information about the episode. Wow, this is basically a chat between me and my teacher from Goa, India, and I'm just a student from Macau, China, and we are going to talk about some cultural difference between the two places and also about religion, like our thoughts on beliefs or faiths. And the episode will be separated into two, and the first one we will focus on the religion part, and the second one we will talk about the cultural difference part, and also why my teacher come and settle down in Macau. So please enjoy this episode, and yes, it will be conducted in English. It's a bit weird for my old audience, but yeah, please enjoy it. So today we have our special guest here that is a teacher that has taught me for around 5 years. Yeah, so let's welcome Miss Gomes.
Hi, I'm Miss Gomes. I've been teaching here biology for a few years now, and I come from Goa, which was a Portuguese colony for about 500 years.
Mm-hmm. So I learned that Miss Gomes, you are a Catholic, and I just wondered, how did you become a Catholic?
Oh, I'm not a convertee. I was born a Catholic.
Oh.
My family for generations have been Catholics, and it's probably because of the Portuguese rule in Goa.
I see. Is that in Goa a large number of population are believing in
Christianity?
Yeah.
Yes. We have, because Goa was a Portuguese colony, we also have Hindus who believe in Hinduism, and we have maybe not even 50% of the population is Catholic, but it's quite prominent. The influence is very prominent. The Roman Catholic religion is very prominently practiced in Goa.
Okay.
We have in every single village there is a church and a chapel, and it's very hugely attended every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays for the Mass.
I see. So I don't know about Goa, but I think in India there are a lot of religions.
Yes,
and
true.
Yeah, I wonder if in Goa there are some conflict between them.
Traditionally, the Hindus and the Christians have, lived well next to each other. They are very tolerant of each other's religions. They celebrate the Hindu faith or the Hindu festivals, and the Christian festivals, are celebrated, and sweets are exchanged, and there's been no conflict when the Portuguese were ruling. Even now, I should say there isn't much conflict, but because now Goa is a part of India, and the central government is predominantly Hindu, it does have some effect, more so in other parts of India, because they are some of them tend to be fanatics, because for them the Hinduism is more important than other religions. Yeah.
So I wonder, because in China or even in Macau, not that much of people are having a
faith, right? Yeah.
Faith.
Yeah.
So is this something that kind of gives surprise to you, or you just, it's fine?
When I first came to Macau, yes, I found that strange. I was like, how can someone live without a faith, Yeah. And then I realized, the modern generations, even so much so with my children, when they were small, we would go to the church as a family. Now, of course, my sons, they don't live with me because they have moved away after their education. And I think even though they believe in God, but they are not churchgoers anymore. Like they only go during special times like Christmas or Easter. And I think that could also be something that is practiced here in Macau, because for us back home, it is a family religion, family faith. And here, people don't really don't have it as a family religion, you know, because for us, we have certain times of the day when we pray, like before a meal, or we have something called Angelus, that around 7 p.m., you know. Yeah. And in Goa, the church bells ring at particular times. Like,
in Macau.
At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, they ring. So they are not just telling you the time of the day. They are reminding you that this is a special time. It's a time of prayer.
Oh,
yeah.
You remind me that, like, the place we live nearby, there's a somehow church as well.
Yeah.
And in Christmas, it often rains during a certain period of time. I just found the rain is nice, but I don't know why they're raining. Is that like they're celebrating
Raining?
The rain, you know, the clock.
The ringing.
Yeah.
When we go to mass, you know, they ring the bells. Like for example, just before it's called elevation, the priest will lift up the chalice, the cup, which signifies it's the blood of Jesus. And then they also elevate a host, which is a piece of bread, which is round in shape, and that is also like the priest elevates it, and that's the time we believe Jesus actually comes, you know, on the priest, and then that host and the wine changes into the blood and body of Jesus. Yeah, and so that's the time they ring the bell. So that's the time we genuflect. That means we will kneel down and we pray. Yeah,
I see. So you have just said that you are born in the religion.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, why, like, what kind of thing that makes you continue to believe in it?
It is, you know, like, I think it's my upbringing, and because I was, my parents, you know, like strongly believe in the faith, and as I grew up from that type of education, you know, I feel that there are certain things that I can get only through my faith in the religion, you know, and that makes me continue, because as human beings, we go through all sorts of things in life, happy moments, you know, then there are trials sent in our life, and there are occasions when, you know, you feel that people around you cannot help. Your family members cannot help. The doctors cannot help. You know, your friends cannot help. And that's the time when you feel, oh, this is such a hopeless case, and how am I going to deal with it? And that's when you look for spiritual help. And, you know, that's why I feel faith is important. You know, like sometimes my children say, you know, the priests are human beings. They have so many faults. Why do you have to go to the church? You know, they say one thing and they do another thing. Why do you have to go to the church? But yes, they are human beings like us, and they also, you know, make mistakes. And I think they will atone for those mistakes. They will have to answer, you know, to the greater being, God, for their mistakes. But I told my son, I go to church not because I want to follow everything the priest says. I go to church because I want to make sense of what I hear from the priest and from the gospel.
I see. So, like, I previously talked to some people believe in Christian, and they somehow talk about the same thing. Like, they feel that when they are in some struggles, they feel like God is with them and help, accompany them to go through those struggles. And yeah, I guess this is the reason why most people have their beliefs.
That's one of the things, you know. Yes, as I mentioned before, sometimes you feel you are at the dead end, and humans or people around you cannot help, not because they don't want to help, but they just cannot help. So that's when you reach out, to God. And that is not the only reason, like not just for what you want, but it's like it's a deeper understanding. It's not just what you can get, what you can ask God. It's a state of mind also. Sometimes you want spirituality more than material goods or other things, and in that it's a sense like there are some things sometimes you can't open up to another person, even if it's the closest family member. But there are things that you can talk to God.
Okay.
Yeah. And first of all, it is faith. It's not religion, is faith, right? You follow it because you trust in it, and you want to follow it. Yeah. So no one is holding a gun at your temple. So it's a matter of choice.
But like, have you considered to like believe in other religion?
In other religions, when I was working at another school, that they follow Baha'i faith. That's another type of faith. And I was there for a very long time in that school, and they always wanted, to people, because it was new to Macau, that religion, and they were really targeting the Chinese people, because there are many Chinese people who don't follow any religion, and they thought, okay, we can get some followers. And then they tried to get me into it indirectly. So they asked me, why do you believe in Christianity? What is it that you get in Christianity? And then why don't you, consider our faith? Because our faith is made up of 9 religions. And I told them, yes, very good, your faith has 9 religions. My faith is only 1 religion, and whatever I need is in it. So I don't think I want to change. If I want to change, it would be if I don't find something I need in my own faith. Yeah.
I see. So like, you have never even questioned your religion? Like,
No.
Oh, I see. Okay, so like throughout your journey in life,
if you can go back to that question which you asked, have I ever questioned my religion? It's there are times when I feel, I'll be honest, like the Bible was written a very long time ago, and they didn't have computers, they couldn't fact check. So it is just based on people who said, because in the Bible there are many books, right? The book of John, Matthew, so many. And then some of those things, like, yes, I have questioned, is it possible? But as I said before, for me, I want to find my own meaning.
Okay. Like you mentioned that in the Bible, something you're not believing, and I just in the Bible it said that God created the world in 6 or 7 days, and like we have just learned about evolution.
Yes.
And like they are completely contradict. So,
but I think for me, as a person of faith and a person who believes in science, it's that you marry the two together. What cannot be explained by science, you find it in your religion. And they don't have to be two separate things. They can be joined. Some things may not be logically explained in your religion, but that is why it's called the faith.
But there are certainly parts that contradict, right?
Yeah.
How about those? Like, which one will you believe in?
For example, evolution is a very slow process, right? For example, and the creation of God was a quick process, right? So why do I have to question, which one is which? If I look at evolution as a science, yes, it is possible, So if one is possible, why can't the other one be also possible?
Just hypothesis.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, like, do you have some mindset or characteristic? Characters. Yeah. Change because of your faith.
In certain things, yes, some things, for example, I may not approve of, like fidelity, fidelity is like faithfulness, like, so for me, I believe that if you are a married person, you have to be faithful to your partner. So, because in our faith, it is considered as a sin. Adultery is considered a sin. And then, yes, that is one of the things I feel, yes, that you should be faithful to your husband or to your partner, certain things. And because now in the modern world, there are so many things that are happening, right? Like homosexuality is looked down upon in the religion, Personally, for me, if someone is a homosexual, I would respect them as people. But would I want it to happen to my kids? No. But I would not look down on anyone. And if it happens to my kids, probably it will hurt me a lot to start with, but I will also have to learn to live with it.
Yeah. Okay. I think your opinion are similar to most people.
Yeah,
right?
It's because I think in this sort of thing, it's not really your religion.
Yeah.
It's just you as a human being. Yeah.
Okay. Like there's one thing as well, like the thing about God are supported by a group of people, like a group of people are in charge of, like, God told me to do something, like, and there are a lot of like quite horrible things happen, like due to this thing.
Yeah, like there are those preachers, right? There are those cult members, and of course they do things, it's as I read like a book before, there are preachers, some of them, first for them, they do it for the love of God. If they become famous because of media and all that, then they do it for money, and then finally they do it for power. So at that point we should have the sense to see through them and quit that, because you don't need to follow preachers to gain like more better understanding in your religion, because sometimes they take advantage. Yeah.
Like in like mid-age, or like in a long time ago. Like because we just in the religion, assume people are with guilt, and for the church they are selling some kind of thing that can help people to relive the thing, and I just found that
the church was very corrupt at that point. They did not have an understanding. But I think today, even now, maybe in some places they still do that. But the present Pope that we have, Pope Francis, he's a very nice, he's a nice person and a very good representative and of the Catholic Church, and he understands. He does not approve of the child molestation done by priests, and he understands a lot of stuff, like, because in the Catholic faith contraception is not allowed. People are not allowed to use any kind of contraception. But think of it, the Catholic Church does not allow abortion. So why do they say don't allow don't use contraceptives, because human nature, maybe somebody gets pregnant and doesn't want to have a child. So how, instead of killing the child, it's better to use the contraceptive and not to conceive a child. So there are certain things in the faith that needs to change.
Yeah.
So everything changes. Even the priests have changed, the nuns have changed. So certain things that have gone on for centuries have to change.
But there is like always this kind of corruption and things that happen.
And it's that those things, like the corrupt ways or things, come mainly because they're also human beings, who are led on by greed. They want to be rich, they want to be powerful. And also the Catholic priests, when they take their vows as priests, they think that they are married to the Catholic faith, and that's why the Catholic priests are not allowed to get married to a woman and have children. But sometimes maybe they have the urge, to have sexual relationship, and when they do that, that becomes a huge scandal and it's not allowed.
Like for me, like when I see these kind of things, I just like I kind of lose my confidence towards like any religion. So I think that's why, like, one of the reasons that I don't have any faith at the moment. But
there are actually, the preachers are from other sects of Christianity. Catholic, we don't really have Catholic preachers like that. It's in America you have many of these very famous preachers, but they don't come from the Catholic faith. They come from like other, like Protestants or other forms of Christianity. That doesn't mean to say that there are no corrupt or priests who do wrong things in the Catholic faith. There are as well.
Alright, so this is the end of the first episode, and I really thank all of you for listening to the end. And I would say, like, I really appreciate for Miss Gomes' help, not just about this podcast, this project, but about like everything. I mean, Miss Gomes has been a great teacher for me, and I'm just a lady with a lot of question in mind, and for years Miss Gomes has been so patient somehow to answer my questions in, like, not just the subject she is teaching, but also about other subjects. So I appreciate that. And there's a lot of things as well, and there's another story, but anyway, I'm not sure, but still I think my English is somehow they need improvement. I mean, I'm not sure whether you have noticed it or not, but at some point in the episode I have been trying hard to add that, like, I have a British accent, like, and it's quite hard for me. Like, even for now, I am trying to have a British accent, but it's hard, especially when you cannot, like, first of all, like, English is not my mother tongue, and especially at some point when you're trying to figure out how to express something, what's the vocabulary that can pop up in your mind to express the thing you want to say. At that point, like, you don't have the time to care about the accent. So I guess there's some sentence that I really have that accent, but for the others no. And another problem about my English is that at some point I talk in a way that even now, even when I'm editing, I cannot understand what am I talking about. Like, I'm just talking about blah 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 like this. Like, guess I need to somehow figure out, like, find some time to learn and improve my English. Yeah, so this is the first episode, and we'll see. Hope you guys can enjoy it, and we'll see in the second episode. Oh yes, you may wonder, why am I trying so hard? Not trying so hard, but why would I want to speak in a British accent? I would say there is no really reasons for that, because it is just something that looks attractive to me when I see people, when I hear people speaking in that way. I will find it attractive, so that's it. That's the reason. And somehow I find if I can speak in that way, that is quite satisfying for me. So yeah, that's the reason. No big deal.
野梨與他的老師們係一檔以人物訪談為主題嘅 podcast。我會唔論國界立場嚟邀請有趣嘅朋友仔上嚟傾下偈，分享佢哋嘅故仔。希望大家喺聽完佢哋嘅經歷之後呢，會收穫到一份嘅樂趣，開闊咗少少嘅眼界，更甚至為人生帶嚟一啲嘅啟發。喺呢一度，佢哋唔淨止係啟發到我嘅老師啊，更會成為收聽緊你嘅老師。我係野梨啊，野生嘅梨子，一個喺澳門讀緊書嘅高3學生。